Welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting of 20th of May 2026. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, Berrigan Shire Council's meetings are recorded. By speaking at a council meeting, members of the public agree to being recorded. Berrigan Shire Council accepts no liability for any defamatory, discriminatory or offensive remarks or gestures that are made during the course of the council meeting. Opinions expressed or statements made by individuals are the opinions or statements of those individuals and do not imply any form of endorsement by Berrigan Shire Council. Confidential matters of council will not be recorded. Recordings are protected by copyright and owned by Berrigan Shire Council. No part may be copied, recorded, reproduced or transmitted without the prior written consent of the CEO. Any recording is not and shall not be taken to be an official record of the Berrigan Shire Council meetings or the discussion depicted therein. Only the official minutes may be relied upon as an official record of the meeting. A record of the council meeting will be taken for administrative and minute preparation purposes only and is provided to the public for listening purposes to support council statutory obligations. Berrigan Shire Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands on which we live and thrive. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. The people of these great nations, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with our waterways and lands. Apologies and leave of absence. I understand we have an apology from Councillor Hannan. Would someone like to move that? Councillor Ngartakoa, a seconder. Councillor Healy, all in favour in accepting that apology. Thank you, carried. Any applications for leave of absence? No. Any attendance via audio-visual link? We have Councillor Payne due to caring duties in accordance with the Code of Meeting Practice. Do we have a mover to accept that? Councillor Ngartakoa, seconder Councillor Brooker, all in favour. Thank you, carried. Confirmation of previous minutes. That's the minutes of our April council meeting, or is it the minutes of our extraordinary meeting, or both? Two extraordinaries.
I think it is the minutes of both.
Or three, rather.
Of all three. You had three extraordinary meetings, yes.
So our ordinary council meeting for April, our extraordinary council meeting on the 29th of April, and our extraordinary council meeting of 6th of May. So we'll move them together. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, all in favour of confirming the minutes for those three meetings. Thank you, carried. Do we have any disclosures of interest?
Yes.
Start with Councillor Payne.
I have one for item 8.8 as a non-significant pecuniary interest. I can never say that word. For the place of business. The residence I live at has business relations.
And this is in relation to which agenda item? 8.8.
8.8, yep. But under the Code of Conduct, it has exceptions as 4.36B.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Payne and Councillor Healy?
Yeah, I need to declare a pecuniary interest in both 8.8 and with our 10.1. And I'll remove myself from the room for both of those items.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Healy. Anybody else? Very good, thank you. We've got no mayoral minute and no reports of committee. Reports to council. We welcome today Linda McRae, who is the chair of our Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. We'll take the report as read, and I'll ask Linda to provide us with a 2-minute overview before we'll go to questions and then move to receiving and noting the report. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Mayor, Councillor Julia Cornwall-McKean and councillors for the invitation to introduce my chair's annual report and assessment for Council's Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, otherwise known as ARIC. Council established an ARIC in late 2021 in accordance with government legislation and guidelines. It is an independent advisory committee to the Council with its specific objectives, and I'm going to read these out, being to support Council by providing independent assurance, by monitoring and reviewing processes and controls around the Council's governance practices, financial management, risk management and control frameworks, as well as internal and external audit activities, external accountability obligations, and Council's compliance with its policies and legislative and regulatory requirements. So quite a mouthful there, councillors. But the report before you today provides a summary and assessment of the work of the committee in discharging those responsibilities. The committee comprises 3 independent members and 1 councillor representative. The committee met on 6 occasions during the reporting period from December 2024 to December 2025. It also met on the 24th of March 2026 and has a meeting scheduled for the 3rd of June 2026. The committee operates within council adopted terms of reference that complies with New South Wales government requirements where appropriate for Berrigan. These terms of reference were amended and adopted by Council in June 2024 and will be reviewed again this year for currency and appropriateness. Mayor, I commend this report to Council and thank you for this opportunity today.
Thank you, Linda. Do any of our councillors have any questions for our Chair of ARIC? Okay, could I get a mover to receive and note the report? Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, all in favour? Thank you, carried. Linda, I'd like to thank yourself and the committee members for all of your work over the last year in particular, and thank you for the time and effort that I know you've put into the report, which obviously was very good because we didn't have any questions. So thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you, Mayor.
And Linda, of course, we're about to say we'll leave the meeting, and she has. There we go. All right, we're at item 8.2. And I would propose that we move as a block items 8.2 through to 8.6. I will go through those separately should anyone have any questions. Do we have a mover for the block? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Brooker. We will just go through them to see if there are any questions. 8.2 is councillor requests for April 2026. 8.3 is the investment report for April 2026. 8.4 are development determinations for March 2026. 8.5 are actions from previous council meetings. Councillor Healy?
Thank you, Mayor Julia. Just in regards to the Country University Centre, I appreciate it was assigned to the former acting CEO and assume it will be reallocated to Cameron. But I was just wondering, is that the case or has that ceased? I wasn't sure. That was in regards to funding specifically, but I'm assuming the Country University Centre work is ongoing for our council.
Thank you, Councillor Healy. Yes, it has been included as part of my official handover notes and it remains a live item in our community strategic plan. It is still a matter that I am scheduled to further review, and I am continuing to undertake my town visits. In fact, I think I'm going to Finley this Friday to have a look at the existing TAFE New South Wales facilities and the potential opportunity to leverage that, and then to look at what we can potentially do with a broader application or reapplication. But it is a matter that is still live and I'll report back to council accordingly.
Thank you. And I just had one other note just from that. I saw that one of the actions hadn't been completed that was from the last meeting. The Hawkins Memorial sign was it was
Erected.
Yes, it was celebrated. The ceremony happened.
Yes, the Mayor has raised that with me and that will be rectified.
Councillor Nadakawa?
Other than the two notes that Councillor Healy had brought up, I had the TFNC lease. I thought that had been finalised. The lease
Football
for the
club,
yeah.
Tokemore. I don't think it has.
Okay, that's right. I thought it. I can answer to that. It had been. There's a few more reviews that the football club have requested, mainly in relation to the footprint detailed on the lease.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor Brooker?
I just had a quick question in regards to, can we confirm if those water transfers have been done yet, just with the closing of the season coming up?
For Finley and
Finley and
for
Brooker.
Cobram-Barooga.
Sorry, Councillor, the 20 megalitres that the golf club wanted for this financial year has been transferred. The remaining bit will be looked at next financial year.
Yep, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else for 8.5? And 8.6, the operational plan review for quarter 3, 25-26. Any questions?
Yes, sorry, Mayor.
Yep.
It wasn't a question so much as an addition with regards to our community, the 1.2. I just think it's important to recognise that the council has an MOU with the Southern Riverina Wellbeing Collaborative, who have actually been advocating for mental health services in our shire. They have bi-monthly meetings with stakeholders that work in the mental health space, and they continue to identify gaps and advocate for supports in our area. So it's an addition to the great work council is already doing in that advocacy space.
And perhaps we can add that into the
Yeah, the
report
plan,
for future. Okay. Anyone else on 8.6? Okay, all in favour of accepting those 8.2 through to 8.6 in accordance with the articulated recommendations? Thank you, carried. All right, we're up to 8.7, which is the March 2026 quarterly budget review statement. And Director Corporate Services, are you introducing this one for us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Excellent. Thank you.
So before we use the quarterly budget review statement referred to as the QBRS for the March quarter, I'm pleased to present that the result has improved. We're projecting a $38 million bank balance at the end of the year compared to the original just shy of $32 million. A lot of that is from receiving the financial assistance grant in advance. We've decreased some of our capital expenditure and right-sized that with our review work that we completed within the quarter. We've also reduced our salaries and wages budget to be more realistic for what the outcome is expected at the end of the financial year. And I'd also just like to highlight within the overview, originally we were projected that our general fund would have negative $2.4 million. We're now projecting that to have a positive of $6.3 million. And through the recent budget announcements, we actually expect that to improve even further because they've announced that they're going to pay 80% of the financial assistance grant in advance. Within this budget, we've only projected that they would pay 50% of the financial assistance grant in advance.
Excellent, thank you. Before I throw to questions, I wanted to commend the report and particularly the discussion section of the report. It was really good to have that level of analysis to get your head around the numbers. So thank you to yourself, Talia, and the team on putting that together. Does anyone have any questions on 8.7? Councillor Natakawa.
I just had one. In that discussions section, it states that there's twice that there was a further correction of $33,000 made to the borrowing costs. Has that adjustment happened twice, or is it just a duplicated line?
Yes. So originally when I first come back from leave, we amended the figures with the information available at the time, which was actually based off the actual financial statements. Within the financial statements, when council has internal income expenditure at a consolidated level that is excluded, within the financial statements last financial year, the borrowings that we have internally, so our sewer fund has lent money to the general fund and also the water fund, those borrowing expenses weren't excluded and they should have been. So in the December quarter, we included them based off the actuals, and then upon further analysis, that was incorrect, so we've removed them out. So that's based on our internal borrowing costs that shouldn't be reflected in there.
Yeah, so it's got so under the discussions, so in the third paragraph under the discussions, it states that a further correction of 33,000 was made, and then in the fourth paragraph it states exactly the same again. So I'm just wondering if it's just an error in it being duplicated twice.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So it's 33,
So
not
it's
66.
only 33, not 66.
Correct, yes.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I do have just a clarification, and I think that we're actually working towards this. There's a line in the report around the expenses. There's a line for other expenses. Just wondering sort of generally what might go into that, not specifically, but is our new financial system, accounting system going to eventually remove that and there won't be a need for another expenses, or will there always be that there?
So this specific template that is completed is actually supplied by OLG, the Office of Local Government, and we're not able to amend that area of other expenses. So if something is in a category that doesn't fit within employees, materials and services, borrowing costs, it generally gets lumped in other expenses. Moving forward, what I plan to do with this report is actually provide a more detailed profit and loss essentially to council with this report that's from our new system Altitude. But we want to make sure that we've got our budget in there correctly before we bring that to council. So the plan is from September 2026, when we produce this report, you'll get further details which will then still match, but you'll see what the expenditure actually is. But for your information, some things that go in there are items such as our contributions, so our contributions to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, our contributions to SES, that's the bulk of the expenditure in there, and then there's other small items that also go in there as well.
No worries, thank you.
Right, so the recommendation for 8.7 is that council note the quarterly budget review statement for the period ending 31 March 2026 and approve its lodgement with the New South Wales Office of Local Government in accordance with the prescribed reporting requirements. Notes the responsible accounting officer's declaration that based on the quarterly review, council's overall financial position was satisfactory at 31 March 2026 and approves the budget variations proposed as part of the March 2026 quarterly budget review statement. Do we have a mover? Councillor Stringer, a seconder. Councillor Dennis, would you like to speak in favour? Councillor Stringer?
It's all been covered.
Okay, anyone wish to speak against? All in favour of that recommendation? Thank you, carried. We'll move to 8.8. Sorry, scrolling, I'll be a moment. Here we go. 8.8 is a development application for 55-26-DA-D3 for the construction of grain storage bunkers at 92 Strathvale Road, Berrigan. And we will welcome today Sarah Griffiths, who will be introducing the paper for us.
Thank you, Mayor. The item was deferred from the April council meeting so that officers could work with the applicant about the rewording of conditions 5, 6, 10 and 13. This has been achieved and the applicant's now happy with the recommended conditions. As required by councillors, the draft conditions were also circulated to all submitters, and at the date of the report and to date there's been no response from them. The officer's recommendation is for approval subject to the conditions that are outlined on page 21. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, do we have any questions? No questions? Oh, Councillor Brooker has a question.
I have a quick question. What is considered a vehicle movement? Is that like staff arriving and leaving? Is that one, or is it trucks coming in and leaving?
That's a good question, Councillor. Ordinarily, it's vehicles entering and egressing the site and moving around it, so that would be considered to be one movement, one vehicle and one movement.
And an extension on that, is that just on the new development or the existing as well?
So as we know, the subject site is currently being used as the access to the existing facility, and this DA is for the subject site and it's the traffic movements on that site. But as we know, it's an expansion of the existing facility, so logically the traffic movement would be associated with the subject site, but also with the existing site as well, the existing facility.
Any other questions? Okay, so our recommendation is that in determining the development application, council resolve to approve the development application subject conditions consistent with the officer's recommendation. Do we have a mover? Councillor Brooker, a seconder. Councillor Dennis. Would you like to speak in favour, Councillor Brooker?
I see it as a great opportunity for Berrigan in the fact that the facility's already there. An expansion of the facility will allow more grain to be delivered, allow more trucks to come through town. If the way I see it is if they're not coming to Berrigan to deliver the grain, they're taking it to Tocumwalla Finley. While they're in Tocumwalla Finley or Oaklands, they're stopping for their lunch there, they're stopping for their supplies there, you know, without, you know, these sorts of things coming to Berrigan, it's slowly going to die.
Anyone wish to speak against?
I would like to speak against.
Councillor Payne?
I want to be very clear that I'm not opposed to development in principle. I understand that the progression is needed and I acknowledge the importance of supporting the local business and the agricultural industry. However, in my opinion, this development application has not met the mark. The issue is not simply whether grain storage can occur on this land. The issue is whether this particular application has been properly presented, properly consulted on and properly conditioned to protect the surrounding residents. The proposal changed throughout the whole process numerous times and created a lot of uncertainty for the community and the residents. And those residents should not be left trying to interpret shifting plans, unclear capacity figures, or whether certain elements such as the sheds and things originally on the first application or future expansions are included or excluded. I am concerned that the consultation has not properly captured all homes affected by the broader operation. The impacts of dust, odour, noise and vehicle movement are not confined only to the properties directly adjoining to the new expansion site. The existing facility and the proposed expansion operate together and the surrounding residents experience those cumulative impacts. The dust and odour mitigation plan also does not give me enough confidence. It relies heavily on responsive management than proactive management, and it does not provide enough measurable enforceable controls for residents living beside the site, and vague commitments are not enough. The landscaping also appears to rely on tube stock, which does not provide immediate or near-term screening or dust protection, which was one of the main things discussed in the original community consultation or the consultation with those adjoining residents, and on good faith that they were going to have somewhat established trees to get them going. If landscaping is being used as a mitigation, it needs to be meaningful and effective within a reasonable time frame. The truck movements and operating hours are a major concern. The proposed 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. 7 days a week in a harvest operation is a significant amenity impact, especially when heavy vehicle frequency appears unclear, and I do not believe that less than 30 vehicles will enter that site within both the new and older development, and residents have directly challenged the claimed truck numbers, particularly during harvest, and without accurate truck movement data, I can't see council properly assessing dust, noise, road safety and real impacts on the surrounding homes. So while I support an appropriate development for the local business growth, I don't believe this DA is in the current form provides the clarity, certainty or protection required for those surrounding homes.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Would the mover wish to respond to that? No. Would anyone else like to speak in favour? Councillor Dennis?
I know this has been an area that has gone back and forth a few times, and the business, the area already exists and it's already operation in the grain area, so it's an extension on that. With the issues raised, the continual requirements to meet the DA requirements will be ongoing, is that correct? So the areas that have been raised will be addressed before the building is actually progressing. I think for business wise it's a great concept, it's great for expansion, but I do acknowledge Councillor Payne's issues that she's raised.
Thank you, Councillor Dennis. Would anyone else like to speak against? Okay, we'll put this to the vote. We do need a division because it's a D8. So all in favour, put your hands up as high as possible, please. Have you recorded those, Chen? And against? Thank you, that's carried. We're up to 8.9, which is public interest disclosure policy and guidelines. And Michelle, would you like to introduce this one?
Yeah, sure. So there.
Oh, sorry, we do need to get Councillor Healy back.
Yep, she's coming.
And before we go into 8.9, Councillor Healy, that DA was approved. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Really just to say that the public interest disclosure policy, and now called guidelines because it's quite descriptive within the policy, is based on the model policy that's been developed by the New South Wales Ombudsman. So the changes that have been made reflect those changes.
Any questions? Okay, the recommendation is that Council revoke the public interest disclosure policy adopted on 18 October 2023 and adopt the public interest disclosures policy and guidelines included with this report. Do we have a mover? Councillor Healy, a seconder, Councillor Natikoa. Do you wish to speak to it? No. All in favour? Thank you, carried. All right. Scrolling, it takes a moment. Okay, we are up to item 8.10, which is a proposal to co-locate the Berrigan Shire Visitor Information Centre with the Tocumwal Library. We do have a recommendation before us. However, I'd like to move an amendment to that recommendation such that the recommendation before us is replaced with the following: that the Council remove this report from the agenda and that a revised report consistent with the resolution of Council at the 18 March 2026 ordinary meeting be brought to Council for its June ordinary meeting. Just some background before I seek a seconder. This is a request of the CEO, who has advised me that information material to the report has become known to him which was not known at the time of the publication of the agenda. And the CEO has advised me that further time is required to consider this information to ensure that we as a council are aware of all matters related to this issue. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Dennis. Thank you. All in favour? Thank you, carried. All right, we're at item 9.1. Which is a notice of motion from Councillor Brooker. Oh, I've gone past it. No, I haven't. It's still going. Here we go. Councillor Brooker, would you like to introduce this, or would you like me just to read the reco? Okay, all right. So Councillor Brooker has put forward this notice of motion that Council resolved to have a report at the ordinary Council meeting in October 2026, presenting a detailed data analysis of the Big Bag Recovery Program participating sites, the primary focus on facility usage, including the number of attendances recorded at each participating site for the purpose of using the Big Bag Recovery Program, the frequency and regularity of those attendance at each site over a defined and reasonable reporting period, 1 June 2026 to 1 October 2026. So that's moved by Councillor Brooker. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Natikoa. Councillor Brooker, would you like to speak in favour?
Absolutely. So the idea of the bag recycling program, which is actually a fantastic initiative, was introduced to us at the development session in October 2025. My only concern with the implementation is that we already have existing facilities for drum muster in place, which I know may not be managed by Shire, but is managed very well in the Shire, which anybody who would be using the bag recovery program will also be using. My concern is around the Finley and Berrigan currently do drum muster. The Finley Recycling Centre is only open 8:30 till 12 on a Sunday. So my concern is that anybody who is using the drum muster program, which is usually Monday to Saturday, they are very flexible, isn't then going to come back to Finley on a Sunday morning when they're only open for 3.5 hours. Was my main one. And Berrigan is also, the landfill is also the drum muster site, so obviously if they're going to Berrigan, that one would work. Tocumwal's an added bonus, but again, its hours are not very conducive to the hours that the people needing to use the facility would need.
Thank you, Councillor Brooker. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Okay, we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. We're up to 9.2, which is a notice of motion from Councillor Stringer. Would you like me to read the recommendation? Yep. That Council undertake a review of the current local laws, policies and enforcement practices, including the management of animals in residential areas and rural, only domestic, not livestock. A report to come back to the Ordinary Council meeting in August 2026 with the analysis. So that's moved by Councillor Stringer. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Dennis. Thank you. Councillor Stringer, would you like to speak in favour of that motion?
Thank you. The notice of motion is raised in response to the continued occurrence of dog attacks in Tocumwal, including a further incident this week and the growing volume of community concerns regarding public safety. I've also had a number of community members contact me directly regarding an increase in the prevalence of nuisance animals, including barking dogs. This caused distress for many households, as although council can attend and nuisance orders and fines issued, these may not be long-term solutions. I'm seeking advice on the efficiency of our local laws with a view to identifying ways for council to address these issues. Just to add to that, last month a lady was bitten on the WAF walk. She was attacked by a dog that's known to have attacked children at the bus stop in that same area. She didn't report it to council because she said she believes that council's got their head in the sand. So we need to do something. I'm a dog lover, but we need to do something.
Thank you, Councillor Stringer. Would anyone like to speak against that motion? No, or we'll put that to the vote. All in favour? Thank you, carried. Could I get someone to please move us into closed council? Councillor Natakawa, seconded Councillor Brooker. All in favour? Thank you, carried. Are we back? We're live? Okay. We discussed at item 10.1 a confidential tender. That matter is still under negotiation, and as a commercial nature. So we won't be reading out the outcome at this time. We'll move to council reports. So we'll start with my report perhaps for this month. I did a lot. I ran out of room on my page. So we had 16 April for Ramjo, had an online meeting, Murray-Darling Basin Plan review submission. There was also an update. Then there was an update from the Murrumbidgee Local Health District, also online on the same day, and a meeting with Michael McCormack in relation to the Murray-Darling Basin Plan review. Caught up with the CEO on 20 April, 21 April, had a discussion with staff. There was a letter from the Governor of New South Wales office wanting some proposed ideas for coming to visit us again. So that letter's now gone. 23rd of April, I attended the Destination Riverina Murray Tourism Conference in Tocumwal. It was at the Memorial Hall. I had my doubts about that as a venue for a conference, but they did a great job. It was really good. They had that as the base. They moved around town and we had lots of visitors, so really great initiative. 24 April CEO catch-up. 24 April, the Cobram Secondary College Anzac service, and I should say that the school, the students did the school proud. It was a really very good service. I attended Anzac services in Cobram and Barooga on Anzac Day on the 25th of April. Had our extraordinary meeting on 29 April. Professional development also on that day. Extraordinary meeting 6 April, and again professional development. 7th of May, I attended with Councillor Healy and the CEO the Rural and Regional Summit in Sydney. Was some interesting presentations, good opportunity to network also. And that evening we attended, the CEO attended the Country Mayors Association, had a reception at the New South Wales Parliament, and the guest speaker was Peter Cosgrove, which was very good. 8th of May we attended Country Mayors in Sydney. 12th of May had Barooga Advancement Group. On the 13th of May I met with our consultant who was helping prepare the CEO performance plan, and I also had a meeting of the Blewett Trust. On 13th of May also did a happy snap with one of our business grant recipients, and that will go out very shortly with a press release. Again, a very successful round. 14 May, I had the Tocumwal Ambulance Committee. 15 May, I was in Albury for the Ramjo meeting. 18 May, CEO catch-up. 18 May, there was an online meeting that Gary and I attended in relation to drought resilience. I don't think I was very helpful, but anyway, that's fine. And 19 May, we had yesterday integrated plan consultation in Tocumwal, and then today we've got our council meeting. All right, all in favour of receiving my report? Thank you, Councillor first a mover, Councillor Natakawa, seconder, Councillor Dennis. All in favour? Thank you, there was so much. Who would like to go next? How about Councillor Payne?
On the 25th of April, I attended the Berrigan Anzac Day ceremony and laid the wreath, and then today's council meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Payne. Councillor Natakawa?
I attended the Friendly Anzac service and laid the wreath there, and then it's just been the development sessions and extraordinary meetings and today.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis?
Thank you. Attended the Anzac services at Tocumwal, the community consultation, which I did get there late, unfortunately, but did make it, and just the extra meetings with the council.
Thank you. Councillor Brooker?
Oh, sorry. Anzac Day, I attended the service in Cobram and just the usual meetings and development sessions.
Thank you. Councillor Stringer?
I was at the consultation yesterday at the library.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot there, but we got the word across, I think. So
yep.
that was good, and all the meetings here.
Excellent. Thank you. Councillor Healy?
Yeah, in addition to the workshops and council meetings, I attended the Regional Rural Summit and the Country Mayors Association meetings with the Mayor and the CEO. And can I just give a little reflection on that for
Sure,
the rest
you
of our
can.
councillors? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I think one of the things that was reassuring for me was that what I was hearing from other councillors, that they're having similar challenges to us in the regional and rural areas, although we can have specific needs individually. There's some, you know, there's merit to working together to get a shared voice, to get traction where we need and to get our needs met. And then with regards to the Country Mayors Association, I'd say there was a big focus on upskilling and training people in our community so that they can transition into roles both in and out of council. Again, it sort of highlighted that need for government, the sectors and communities to work together rather than in silos to get better outcomes. And my sort of takeaway from it was there was a lot of talk about what was going on now and how to meet needs now. And a question that I thought of many hours after we left was, you know, what are we doing now to work together to ensure our communities are secure and thriving so into the future, so that children like mine, Councillor Natakoa's, grandchildren that, you know, belong to us around the table and others have that opportunity to access quality education and training, gain employment in our towns and build their own businesses, you know, rather than just focusing on now how we're working strategically into, you know, keeping our communities strong in 15, 20 years' time. Yeah, that's just my little takeaway from those meetings that we attended.
Excellent, thank you. CEO, did you have anything you wish to add before we close?
I very much echo and reflect upon your comments, Councillor Healy. The issues raised at the Local Government New South Wales Rural and Regional Conference did not necessarily come as a surprise to any of us. I think one of the takeaways that I have that I'll report further to this group is that there needs to be much more of a strategic approach and a strength in numbers rather than individual shires and councils looking at these in isolation, and very much so that it is dealing with problems that are very much current, that are looking for solutions that are very much immediate, which might not necessarily give rise to strategic solutions that have long-term impact. And that's my great takeaway, is that the thinking must need to change from a very much an immediate and now to a longer-term solution-based approach.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so that ends our Ordinary Council meeting today. Our next Ordinary Council meeting will be held on 17 June and that will be at 9:30 a.m. following a citizenship ceremony here in Council Chambers at 56 Chandler Street, Berrigan. Thank you.